Sorry.
Thanks for turning up. Hello and welcome to Articulate. I'm Katie.
And I'm Harry. Finally here. Sorry about that, guys.
It's nice of you to join us on this very spooky Halloween special.
It's great to be here. This set is looking incredible.
Yeah, and our stories are just as scary. Well, almost as scary as the set.
They are. We have some student finance for you today. We have a ghost walk. We also have how to dress your house perfectly for Halloween as well.
Yeah, and we're also going to show you how to make some really cool pumpkins, and we're going to show you that in the studio a little bit later. But first of all, we're going to take a look at some really scary goings-on a ghost walk.
So I might take you down there a little bit later on. If we have time at the end, that's where we'll...
When you're ready.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Shrives House barn, what is reputed to be one of the most haunted buildings in Britain. Now, first off, I'm going to introduce you to a good friend of mine, Master William Shrieve. William Shrieve is the first known resident of the building. He was gifted this land in 1536 for his services to the Crown. Now, he is the most dominant spirit on this site, as he's been here the longest, and we're told that he likes to follow us around, and as he will be going around this tonight, it may sound like a stupid thing, but this is like spiritual insurance. I'd like you to acknowledge him by giving him a good evening, Master Shrieve.
Good evening, Master Shrieve.
Trust me, if you didn't do it now, you're going to regret it later on when we go and see John. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do now is go through up the stairs to the haunted staircase. So if you'd like to follow me. If you feel a sudden bit of cold anywhere around the building, that is it's called a cold spot. It's literally like being plunged into an ice cold bath. Quite often during the day we have people complaining on these stairs. They feel breathless. They feel their hair being touched or played with. And perhaps this is Lee. This is not Lee, our friend who was hung up there. Perhaps he's found up there.
I'm just saying, I felt my hair being played with, and she was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." I didn't say that.
If you ever feel, we often find people do feel their hair being pulled. Like I said, there's cold spots everywhere. If you feel cold at any point, tell me. We do like to know these things. We like to use them in the rest of our tour. Stopped working. Now, we have had a well-respected medium called Ian Doherty come to the building here, and he was in this room when he saw, just behind Dom in there, down the corridor, he saw the spirit of a lady. A lady he described as wearing a long silk dress and she had long dark hair. She announced herself as Elizabetha. She came over here during the time of the Spanish Armada. Now, what happened next was of great interest to educational, spiritual, every circle known, because Ian Doherty, who'd never spoken a word of Spanish in his life, started speaking. The investigation team was a Spanish student and began to translate and indeed started asking Elizabetha in intelligent questions about the time. What happened next confused everybody. The Spanish students stopped being able to translate. They didn't know what they were saying. So they wrote down what they heard and tried their best to write down what's in Spanish, what they heard. She took it back to a Spanish tutor, and the Spanish tutor said, "Where on earth did you find this?" And they said, "Well, I'd rather tell you afterwards. What's wrong with it? This dialect has not been spoken in over 400 years." A little experiment. This is something that I've actually had Janet do with me before. She likes very shiny objects. So if I just hold that out and see if Lucy's about. Lucy, you can move this for me. Yes, my hand is not moving.
Oh my God, your hand's not moving.
These are my friends. They're coming to film you. You're a movie star. I don't think that really means anything to us.
You're going to be on telly in the 21st century.
In the 16th century, so 500 years ago. But she does like new friends. We saw that you played with your toys earlier, isn't that right? So yes.
Do you like my necklace?
That's quite a big yes.
I'm glad you like it.
But I'm going to give it back to you now because she does tend to take things away. People actually say that they've had things taken from them, like Janet said earlier. Somebody had actually quite a tight ring on and it came off without them knowing it and went into their pocket. When things do go missing, she does generally tend to put them back within a few days. So she's actually quite a nice one. But I'll tell you a little bit more about her in less playful guise downstairs. Okay, I told you a little bit about Lucy upstairs, who was seen here in the 16th century when it was a tavern. Now, in this building there have been 4 great fires. The latest was 1595, and at that time Lucy was here. She was in the fire and she had burns on her hands and her feet. I told you before, she's a pickpocket. She was actually helping her family to live. And obviously when that happens, they had no way of getting any more money. So, when her hands were so burnt and her feet burnt, they couldn't afford a doctor, they went gangrenous, she fell into a coma. And her family thought, well, maybe she can feed us one more time. Because they thought she was dead. I mean, it was the 16th century, nobody knew what a coma was, they just thought she was dead. So they thought, maybe she can feed us one more time. They didn't eat her. They sold her body to a doctor who wanted to find out more about the digestive system. So imagine the scene, a bloody wooden doctor's table, poor Lucy there, completely naked, ready for surgery. The doctor got a knife, cut her from here to here, and then she woke up. Now, the doctor had the fright of his life. He thought he just brought somebody back to life with a knife. He had the shock of his life, but not quite so much as poor Lucy. Now Lucy mercifully died of shock, and it's quite often said that she's seen around in this general area, that she can actually be seen sat on the floor cross-legged, hands and feet burnt, showing, gaping stomach wound, looking for sympathy. People actually left this area saying, how can you put such a horrible mannequin in here? We've told them to show us where it is, and obviously there's nothing there. So I'm sure there's something there, but no. Also, I told you...
Oh my god, did you hear that? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Is that his room?
That sounded like the seance room, didn't it?
Yeah, that's something. I don't like it.
Can actually everyone attest to actually hearing something then?
Yeah, I definitely did.
A skeletal face, very drawn face, very crooked teeth, and she called us and said, "What is that?" And we actually had to say, "That's John from downstairs."
So you followed
John followed her home, and we had to give her number to a medium. Medium called her. We're not allowed to say who it was because they don't want us to tell them. And they said, "Well, he'll leave you alone within a week." But through that week, she could see him in like the corner of the eye at the mirror, and they'll say, their breath, fingernails. She could feel that all week.
Tom,
But at the end, yes.
was that after they sat on this chair?
Nobody knows where they actually went because they're the only two here. It might be said. It might be said in the Telegraph. I've not actually looked at the thing myself. But you can look it up. It's called "My Night of Terror in the Haunted House."
Right.
How do you feel, Dom?
Is it cold there?
How do you
It's
feel?
really cold in here.
I really want to sit in the chair.
Really cold.
Can somebody film me in the chair? Because you don't believe in all of this stuff, and I really do. Somebody
Is that
hold
noise
it.
normal?
That's an
That's why I asked, is it normal?
It's a muffled plane, but that is a plane.
Right,
Right.
are
Watch
you
your foot.
going in?
nervous.
'Cause-
Watch
I
your
want to
feet.
do this.
Are you touching my back? Yeah, I am. Don't.
I feel really heavy.
Sit down.
Oh god, it moved.
Because you might actually have things there. Because, like I said, John is more into women.
And blondes.
We say that just
Why do
but
I
it's
do
not been
that?
proven
Is it
that
not
he likes
really?
blondes or anything like that. But yeah,
No, it does feel very cold. I felt quite heavy as I stepped into that.
yeah, it's possible.
What would that be?
That would just generally be like a cold spot. You say you feel like it's a cold spot. You feel like it's really cold.
I felt like no, but literally, I just felt like I was really heavy. I feel heavy, really, really heavy.
That's it's not the thing, but that's like I said. There's so many things in this building, like below the building. People feel like the gravity is more, especially if they're around something like that.
Hey guys,
Are you
how you doing?
shaking loose? Oh, okay. I wonder why my camera was.
Straight downstairs, you go straight outside. I'll tell you a little bit more about the witches.
What is it? My way. Guys,
No.
that is moving.
No.
That is moving. We didn't even touch that.
Oh, look at that.
Tom, I'm not being funny. That just really moved. That was like. You're on. Did you just touch your foot?
I think even Paul wants to go now.
I'm going to move on a little bit.
Hello.
Can you see that?
Yeah, that's really moving.
Wow, that was pretty creepy.
It really, really was. I mean, the bangs and stuff almost gave me a heart attack.
Me too, actually. I was a bit of a scaredy cat through that, if I'm honest. Anyway, we're joined now by Katie Sweeney, who was at the Ghost Walk. Hi, Katie.
Hey guys.
So, what was the actual experience like for you?
For me, I was really freaked out. I believe in this sort of stuff, so I thought I would be all right. Like, you think you like psych yourself up pretty, like, yeah, it's all
Yeah.
gonna be fine. It's just gonna happen. But the light, that was the end of it. It was just the worst experience ever.
So did you actually feel like a ghostly presence?
You feel like the atmosphere everyone gets so tense, and everyone just tenses up and thinks, oh my God, is it behind me? Is it not?
Yeah, yeah. And there's lots of stories about hauntings in Stratford-upon-Avon. So what was the main hauntings in Shrives House?
Well, the main one is obviously, there's 3 ghosts in Shrives House. There's the little girl Lucy, who we saw with the necklace. Tom told us on the VT that she was burnt in a fire, and obviously the story goes on that she was not dead, but they thought she was, and she died not in the house, but she still haunts there. But she's a friendly ghost, but there's also John, who's not so friendly, and towards women especially though. He's fine with men.
No, he's fine with women. He doesn't like the blokes. He haunts the women, doesn't he? Or have I got that all wrong?
I think you got that wrong. I thought because he haunts the women because he used to rape them and abuse them. He doesn't like women.
Yeah, because there was also that story about the woman in the back, like when she was driving home, she saw the mirror in the back and stuff.
Yeah, so he haunts women.
Yeah.
It's all quite weird.
There's just so much going on that you can't get your head around it.
I can't get my head around it. I'm kind of a bit sceptical about it. Would you advise that I go and just do it and see for myself?
Because Dom, who we took with us, was an absolute skeptic when we took him, and he came out pretty convinced.
He was shook up, completely shook up.
Yeah. I mean, everyone thinks, oh, it's going to be a trick of a wire. I'm telling you, no one else was in there apart from our crew and our tour guide.
That's it. There was 5 of us in that building, and that was it. It was closed off to the public. It was literally just us. And I know that he doesn't believe us.
No, not yet. I think I might have to just go and do it, and then, I don't know, by next week I'll come back and be as scared as you guys.
Yeah, and you will be. You'll be crying here. You won't be as brave as I am.
Well, we'll see about that. Well, anyway, thank you very much for coming to talk to us. So next we are going to look at how to decorate your house for the Halloween sort of season, and also how to carve the perfect pumpkin.
And then you get to have a go. So
I'm going to take a go at that.
Take a look.
Halloween is probably my absolute favourite thing to celebrate. We always throw parties each year that have been really successful. I think the best part of Halloween is the spectacular decorations, so we're going to show you just how it's done. What you're going to need is some drawing pins or a set of nails to insert into the wall and hang up the object. Spooky ornaments are really simple. All you need to do is just put them on the surface area, but make sure you actually put them neatly, don't just sling them anywhere. Next stage is the really tricky bit. Now we're going to get on to hanging up the banners. If you have any hanging objects such as skeletons or spooky menus, then you really need to find suitable places to put them. Finally, don't forget the sweeties for the trick-or-treaters.
And what would any Halloween party be without a pumpkin? Before you start carving, you'll need to get a large carving knife, a few knives of different sizes depending on the design, a large spoon for scooping, a bowl and a pen. Use the large knife and cut around the top as evenly as you can. Then we will use a smaller knife and the spoons to cut around the inside of the pumpkin and scoop it into the bowl. As you can see, it's not a clean process. Remember, the more thoroughly you empty the pumpkin, the longer it will last. My design is hopefully going to look a bit like this picture. Once you've drawn the design, you can start carving. If you've drawn on the pumpkin, you should make sure to carve outside the drawing so you don't end up with black lines on the pumpkin. You don't always have to carve right through the pumpkin. You can create different shadows and shapes by carving only partway through the pumpkin. It's not easy though. When you've finished, you just need to place a candle inside, place the lid on, and there is your finished pumpkin. Pumpkin designs can vary in difficulty, the easiest and most common being a face. This one is middling in difficulty, but just do whatever design feels right to you and have fun.
So that was great. I really love the decorations of the house and things. I think I might need to throw a Halloween party now. Right, I'm joined by Abby, who was carving that pumpkin, that VT, who's going to teach me some things and some tips about carving my own. Hi, Abby.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So where should we start?
Well, you should probably, obviously these ones have already been emptied out.
Yeah, we've carved those out already.
Yep.
Just to save a bit of time.
Yep. So first, we'll probably be drawing on the design.
Okay.
Which is going to be a bit more simple than this, probably just a face.
Yeah. So would you say it's easier to keep it simple?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'll do is I'll draw some big triangular-looking eyes on there. Right.
Yeah.
That look a bit. Yeah.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. A bit scary. What should we go for a nose?
Yeah, I think so.
What, like another triangle? Triangles.
I quite like the design on this pumpkin.
Should we go for
something a bit like that?
A bit like one of those?
Yeah.
I think triangles are probably quite nice to cut, aren't they? So we'll go for some teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's as simple as possible.
And then spiky teeth at the bottom as well. They're not the best of teeth, but no, there we go. So there's so far. Right. So now...
So, yeah, next we're going to be just carving straight into it.
Okay.
We'd probably preferably have a slightly different knife to that, as you saw in the video, but this will do.
This looks a bit dangerous, this one, but what we're going to do, I think we'll start... Should we start with the eyes? Should we start at the top and work our way down? And I think you said in the VT about cutting outside the lines if you can, didn't you?
Yeah.
So let's see if we can get into it. This is the hardest pumpkin ever to cut. I'm really outside the lines, but I'm not... Oh, yeah, that's through. Okay.
I'll just remove the spoon.
Yeah, just remove the... Yeah, let's do that. I'm probably not the best pumpkin carver in the world. Right, that is... if I can get that through... Oh, wow. Who built these pumpkins? There we go. There we go. There's an eye.
That is a good start.
Okay, so I'm going to put that in
a
little rubbish bin under there. Right, the other eye. Oh.
It's a bit difficult, this pumpkin.
It is, yeah. Bit of an odd angle, really. There's another eye. That was fast.
Okay, now onto the nose, probably.
Onto the nose. He's looking scary. Hello, you. Right. And is that going to come out of there? Yeah. We have a nose.
I'd definitely say this is the easiest pumpkin to do. In a... yeah, the most simple way to... but quite difficult with this particular pumpkin.
Maybe I'll
And his knife.
Yeah, maybe next time.
This is a good place to start.
Next time I'll just do one triangle or something. It's a bit. I'm not really sure how this is going to come out, guys, if I'm honest. Right, so almost one side of the mouth down. Have you got any more pumpkin carving tips? What's the best kind of candles to put in there? Because sometimes you see some candles and they just don't look very light in the pumpkins and stuff.
I'd probably just... I think the best to put inside a pumpkin would be a night light, like little tiny ones.
Okay.
Most of the time they'll just shine through, but then sometimes you might need a few of them in there, or maybe a bigger... Just
to make sure that everyone sees your pumpkin.
Yeah. I think most of the time just little ones are fine. Yeah.
If you spent all this time trying to carve one, you want people to notice it, don't you? Right, so...
Especially if you've opened out, like, practically the whole front of the pumpkin. You don't want the candle to be too obvious.
No, but you want it to be nice and bright though still, don't you? Okay, so I've cut all the way around that. Whether that comes out of there is a totally different matter.
There we go.
And there we go, look at that. That, if I don't say so myself, that looks... good, that. So yeah, I think that's pretty amazing if I don't say so myself. What do you think, Katie?
Yes, really, really terrifying.
Big fan of that.
Yeah.
Just dropped it again. Right, thank you anyway. Finally, we're going to move on to a slightly off-topic VT about student finance now. So let's take a look.
Hello and welcome to this week's student segment. I'm your host Liam, and this week we'll be looking at our student finances, and I'll be helping you to push your finances that extra bit further. What happened to the lights? Is the camera still on?
Yeah, it's still working.
Where's all the power on? What are you saying to me?
I don't know where Will's gone, but it seems I'm on my own. We were going to do a segment on the student financing, but I think this is more important. Anyway, here's the 5 top tips for staying alive in this situation. Number 1, do not scream. Number 2, lock all your doors and windows. Number 3, call the police. Number 4, stay together. And number 5, if you find a strange book covered in barbed wire, locked in a basement, do not read it.
What just happened?
That was weird.
There seems to be a slight mishap there, but I'm sure they're all right.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's all fine. Right. Okay.
Did you see that? I was like, what's happening?
Yeah. Just a bit of a technical thing. But anyway, that's all for this week. We'll see you next week.
Same time, same place.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.